Take a bite out of crime. Chomp. What's up, Crime Stoppers? It is I, your wretched vigilante, the OG GM, coming to you live from Site B at this, the 6th day of September in the year of our Lord Mackie Ito 2023. It's about 8:51 in the morning. It is 74 degrees and cloudy. And we have some more news in this most wonderful yet horrible story from Gencon about the two criminal masterminds who blazingly walked into the storeroom of the conference hall, grabbed a pallet jack, linked it up to $300,000 worth of magic and other assorted things, took it out past security guards, people, into the parking lot, put it in their car, and drove away. Fully in Technicolor 1080p, being able to see their faces and their backs, and including the fact that they were wearing merchandise advertising a game that they had worked on. Well, thanks to the never-ending crime-fighting prowess of the Chicago and Minneapolis and Indiana Police Department, they have been caught and dragged kicking and screaming to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office at Indianapolis. Thomas Dunbar and Andrew Giaume, who created a game called Castle Assault, have been charged with felony theft for their parts in the alleged theft of Magic the Gathering cards from retailers and tournament organizer Pastime Comics and Games. Should Dunbar and Giaume be found guilty, they face 1 to 6 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. The prosecutor's office said the charges come after the investigation that spanned both Indiana and New York. During the course of the investigation, the stolen merchandise was located and recovered as evidence. The filing of charges today ensured that there are criminal consequences for their conduct. So, if you're wondering why Wizards of the Coast hasn't said anything, it's because those were not Wizards of the Coast product. They were the property of Pastimes Comics, run by manager John Temple. So, that's how much money he estimated the value of the cards were on the pallet, sealed based upon how much he spent ordering them from Wizards, stuff like that. So, if you're wondering why Wizards didn't call Pinkertons or whatever else, it's because it wasn't their stuff. It was his stuff. So why would Wizards get involved? Police received security footage that showed the alleged theft, which featured two white men matching Dunbar and Giaume's description using a pallet jack to relocate a pallet full of boxes wrapped in plastic. Once the men removed the pallet of cards from the pastime booth, the alleged theft, they then hid it under a curtain. Later, the men appeared again, this time with a red handcart full of Magic the Gathering card boxes unwrapped from the plastic previously affixed from them to the pallet. This is new. Security footage then showed the two men moving the cards from the convention center through the hotel into the parking garage where they presumably loaded it into a car. Security footage then showed the men leaving the garage with an empty cart. The affidavit even includes a photo of the car that the men left in, a 2023 Nissan, driving Indiana, with the cardboard boxes visible in the trunk of the car. Ultimately, the police were able to connect the rented car to Dunbar. The pair was able to be connected to Gencon because they both originally registered badges in their name. The badges say, the affidavit says the names were changed to Scott Fisher and Ashria Lockhart sometime between the 1st and the 5th. So they changed the name on the bandits. Video evidence is the only material mentioned in the affidavit. Somewhere before Dunbar and Giaume left Indiana for New York, they too allegedly attempted to enter an area Gencon shared by Asmodee and Atomic Mass Games, which makes Marvel and Star Wars tabletop games, amongst others. The persons connected to the booth believed the pair were trying to break in and snapped the photo before they left. When police went public with the photo, the contractor recognized Dunbar. The New York attorney later contacted police saying it represented a person who was coerced into buying the pallet for $4,000. The person didn't realize the true value, the attorney said, until they came home and saw the Gencon heist story on the news. On August 25th, the New York State Police went to the attorney's office where they found 115 boxes of Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons books, according to the affidavit. Police are holding the materials as evidence. Polygon has reached out to Pastime Comics for comment. I am glad they got caught. I hope that Pastime Comics is able to make back some of their loss. Having worked so much of my life in retail, shoplifters, I feel, should be persecuted to the full extent of the law. Plus, they cross state lines with the intent to sell, thus making it a felony charge, which means even if Pastime settles out of court, there's a fine. 1 year in jail, 5 years in jail, minus time served. The guys are definitely going to see some time. We don't know what the bail is, but, you know. That said, A for effort, my friends. Went into the con under one name, switched the names on the badges in the hopes nobody would recognize you, walked into a heavily patrolled area, grabbed a pallet jack, put the pallet jack under a pallet worth of product, walked out with the product, hid it under a curtain because nobody's going to notice that, came back later, opened the boxes, transferred them from the pallet onto another cart, took that cart through the hotel into the garage, drove off, came back, then tried to enter another area to attempt to maybe steal more stuff. Thankfully, somebody saw them, then left, crossed state lines, and then coerced someone into buying the box for way less than it was worth. And then that guy went, hey, wait a minute. That guy turned it into the police, told the police who it was. Not only do we clearly see who it is, not only are they recognized, not only do we have the driver's license and model and make of the car, but the guy's wearing product that advertises the game they made, and they're walking through someplace where people who are going to know who they are, and then they got caught. I would love to know what they were thinking. Let's face it, we would love to know what they were thinking, right? I mean, did you think you would get away with this? And why would you do this? Why? Were you going to open your own game store? Were you just figuring you can get what you could get for this? $300,000 worth of product for $4,000? Yeah, I'm a professional speaker. Don't do this at home. I'm glad they got caught. I hope the comic book company gets their money back. I hope this is a lesson to the Gencon and the hotel to increase security. But you got to love these guys for trying. You got to love them for trying. Yeah, I'm glad they caught. I hope they serve the maximum amount of time because shoplifters should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But God, I love them for trying. And I would really love to know what the fuck was going through your brains, guys. Criminal masterminds. The great Gencon Magic the Gathering theft perpetrated by two men who will no doubt go down in Magic the Gathering history, Thomas Dunbar and Andrew Giaume, or Giaume, Giaume. I'm probably pronouncing that now. Creators of the game Castle Assault. Yes. Single greatest crime in Magic the Gathering history. Yes? No? Yes? What do you guys think about this? It's just funny. It's just funny.